So the creator clash is coming up. The main fight on the card is going to be iDubbbz versus Dr. Mike. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard about it now. But the other biggest fight, in my opinion, is Hasan versus Bo Burnham. Now, you might be saying, Jackson, why is that such a big fight? Well, it's because of the conversation around it. Now, Sam Hyde has came out said multiple times he will fight Hasan. He will fight Hasan. He wants to fight Hasan badly, right? In fact, he even tweeted out that he will force the situation with Hasan because he wants to fight Hasan that badly, right? And now, this is a fight that I would think it would be pretty good. Sam Hyde is 6'2", 190. Even though, like, he's said to be 6'2", 190. I doubt that, though. I think he's more around, like, 200 pounds. Like, 220 plus. He just looks like a big guy. Hasan's pretty much in that range, too. He's, like, 6'4", from what he said. I think it would be a really cool fight. I think it would be really an interesting fight. Hasan's kind of scared of Sam Hyde. Said that, like, one punch would blow up his head, but I disagree. I think it would be an interesting fight. I know both of them train really well. Hasan is more of the physical side, but Sam is more of the boxing side. So I think it would be a really interesting fight just to see, just to watch play out. I think it would be the second most interesting fight. Yeah, but I just repeated myself a lot. So let's move on to what the fans have been saying. They've all been coming out and being like, if Sam isn't in the fight, the price ain't right. If Sam isn't in the fight, the price isn't right. And Sam even retweeted it and said it himself. If Sam isn't in the fight, the price isn't right, right? So it was clamoring around, and things were going to get to a point where iDubbbz and Anissa had to respond in some way to this, and they did in a call with, weirdly, Fousey and Keemstar. So what happened was they talked about, Anissa particularly said that, hey, this would be a massive business risk. We're trusting that these guys have real boxing coaches. We're trusting that these guys, well, we're checking in on the boxing coaches, but we're trusting that these guys will come in within 7 pounds of each other, and we don't believe that Sam Hyde can do that, and we don't trust him. And iDubbbz said it was partially because he was going to shoot guns with Sam, and if Sam showed up 2 hours late, and then after that, every day that iDubbbz was in Rhode Island, Sam was like, oh, my back hurts, oh, I can't do it, this and that, right? So iDubbbz doesn't trust Sam and said, hey, he should make his own event because we don't think that, like, it would be a good idea for us, right? Part of it, people think, is because of Sam's quote-unquote edginess. I don't see Sam as super edgy from what I've seen. I've heard stuff that's like, hey, like, that's kind of edgy, you know? Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but, like, he seems like a cool and alright guy, but it seems like iDubbbz has sort of, like, shifted away from that kind of thing, especially, like, recently with the whole Anissa thing and, like, supporting her having an OnlyFans, which was weird. I don't know why people were so up in arms about it. Probably because they viewed, like, iDubbbz and the guy that they saw in the content cops, they thought that that guy was, like, 100% his authentic self, when, like, it just seemed like they took him way too seriously, is what I'm saying. And so when he came out and was like, hey, like, I'm cool with my girlfriend doing the OnlyFans, people were like, he started shifting the more content cop related material. People were like, hey, I can't believe this. I believed in you, iDubbbz. I trusted you, iDubbbz, right? And I thought of a quote from a Lil Baby song, funnily enough. If business is business, it's strictly financial. I think that this was a financial move by iDubbbz. He basically saw the writing on the wall, right? And was like, hey, I can't do this for the rest of my YouTube life. I've got to switch over. And switching over involves, hey, I'm not going to associate with people like Sam Hyde. And when I do, I'm going to be like, hey, this behavior is wrong. And, like, he brought up, like, the alt-right type of stuff and getting away with it, his documentary on Sam Hyde. And I get it, right? Some people just left YouTube, right? Filthy Frank saw the writing on the wall too and was like, hey, I can't make this content. I'm going to shift over to music. Hey, thank you for your time. He left. That's cool. That's alright, right? But to sit there and get mad at him for it, I think it's a little weird. Like, I could understand being a fan and sitting there and be like, hey, that sucks. I disagree with it, but to like get angry at it and call it names, call him names, I should say, not items isn't it. I do want to say before I wrap it up that it is kind of weird that items was on a call with Keemstar and Fousey and was just chill, even though like he doesn't like him and like his friends don't like Keem, like especially one of his biggest friends that we see. Obviously, I don't know his real friends because I don't know him, but Ethan Klein hates a Keemstar with a passion. We all know this, so I don't know why he was just so cordial. Like, we're cool with Keem, whatever. We'll go on an interview with him. Now, I haven't seen the whole interview. I don't know if they were like punking on him for like half of it, but like this was like the beginning, and they were like, let's get the cool stuff out of the way, the serious stuff. I mean, and then they were just like, hey, we're gonna mess with him. But that does wrap it up. In conclusion, don't idolize people on the internet because it's just gonna end up with you being disappointed, and you're gonna, at the end of the day, you're just gonna be like, oh man, this guy wasn't who I thought he was gonna be, and that sucks to have to live with, right? Especially if you viewed him as a role model. But yeah, there's also no problem with being angry that this guy that you subscribed for one reason and you thought that he was this way and then you changed. It's okay to be mad, but just don't call people names. That's well, all I have to say. So I'm gonna leave it off here before I get too rambly or more rambly than I already have. Goodbye. Jeez.